Hello, good people. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon from wherever you are. Richard here, and we are briefly back to doing a new episode of this amazing community. I have a bit of flu, and I hope my voice is clear. Yes, today I want to talk about something to do with riding a tide. Just more of food for thought. Are you riding your tide? Do you know your tide, or are you navigating it right? So this metaphor is a common metaphor that actually, you know, you would have seen here and there, and it basically, I think it's all about navigating complex situations as and when they present themselves in life, and the ability or your flexibility, to flow. It's I think mostly common in the in the in the C word, where especially captains of ship, always are trying to use the tide or the waves or the storm or the weather as and when they are sailing to their advantage, and that's how for the most part ships sort of like try to navigate and get to on the other side. Now, as I was reflecting on this conversation, on this metaphor, I also thought deeply about the conversation I've had with my uncle, my best family friend, Vincent, over the years, and he has always been of the opinion that in life there will be very many situations, right, that present themselves to us, right, and these situations would come in different packages, right, in different complications, in different complexities, for lack of better words. Now, the question has always been, how do you handle any situation as and when it presents itself? And how you handle that, by and large, is what informs your ability to move to the next thing. So I asked him over the years that how do you, because he's a business person, he's been fairly into politics one way or the other in the past, so it's always been a question of how do you navigate, how do you manage, and I believe that there will be so many difficult and very different situations that come your way in this tide we call life, this journey we call life. So as and when you're navigating these complex situations, your biggest strength will always be your mental strength. We always had this saying with him that we always do have this saying with him that a situation or a person or anything, they could be stronger than you, they could be more powerful than you, they could be richer than you, they could be more empowered, more favored, more everything is actually to their advantage. They have an upper hand on you, especially physically, right, or things from without. But as long as they are not stronger than you mentally, you'll always navigate. And this is me being general, right, really, and not being very specific on a particular situation. But I have seen it it's not easy actually. A pastor could say it's easier said than done, and while at it, a lot of things, have to come to play. There's some situations which are very difficult to navigate. Others are fairly doable, but the biggest task for anyone is always how do you ensure that you remain strong mentally, because that's the only way you can actually overcome anything. And so again, also I think one other thing that actually would help, based on my conversations with my uncle, is that and over the years, really, like over the years, is that you could look at when you're done with the situation, again, whatever it is, right? However complex, however difficult, however easy, then, so that is done. In Kenya we say, imepita, it's gone, right? Now it crosses over to the history. I've already said it becomes a thing of the past. So you don't continuously beat yourself over that situation. So you move on to the next one. Now that way, that also I think sort of helps, in feeding into your mental strength, storing more mental mental balls, for lack of better words. And in the end, this brings you closer, right, to navigating situations as and when they present themselves. So I thought this is actually quite interesting. And then again, as I've been reflecting on it and looking at this metaphor called ride a tide, so because then when you're riding a tide, right, you have to conform, right? It's closer to the video I did, I think, a month or two ago, where I said, I think acceptance like water, I actually, at the time when I was doing that particular video, I hadn't thought about this metaphor, ride the tide. And when I came across it, actually, it's perhaps many of you have heard of it, have seen it, and tried to bring it closer to our reality. But it's actually hit home in a way that I hadn't really sort of like thought, in the sense that once you conform, stop resisting, right, you will be able to navigate the tides. And there will be different tides in life, There'll be people who are coming after your career, people who are coming after your money, or if you do have a good business, or if you even in situations where things don't work out in business or relationships, or in any form, right? It could even be health, physical health, right? So it's always a question of how do you navigate this particular tide. Because again, look at a tide as a different situation of life and how things come your way. Some would be within your control, others would not be within your control, others are to do with your own making, others just come as life happens as we know it. But the biggest question is, what do you do about it, right? How do you deal with these situations? How do you continuously restock your mental strength? And sometimes actually, as I, that's why I love this community, really. And for the most part, I sort of like think about the things that I talk about on this particular channel, and I always keep asking myself, actually, like, am I even personally just saying things for the sake of saying? Do I believe in them? And the answer is, I do believe in the things I say, because they just, make sense to me. Do I reflect them 100%? Am I just saying for the sake of saying? No. Do I find it equally, difficult to sort of like do the things that I say? 1000%. In fact, sometimes I'm like, okay, but I said this, am I living this kind of expectation? But I also don't put so much pressure onto myself, right? Because there's always said, know thyself. Maybe actually that would be another episode I'll talk about. But by and large, I think that there's no harm in, like they say, do as I say, don't do as I do. But I always also try as much as I can to do as I say, and also to learn, to reflect on these things, and in one way or the other hold myself accountable. But I think that a lot of the things I've actually seen make sense to me, and to a couple of people who have gotten back to me with very interesting feedback. And it's always a good place to come back to, to ask myself, to ask my friends, to relate, to have conversations, like honest conversations about life, and to keep learning, because you will always fail. You will always have different tides, right? They will always come your way in all different forms and shapes. The question is, what are you doing about it, right? Are you riding it to conform, or is the tide riding you because you're resisting, right? And you may actually not navigate the tide. That would mean, drowning a little bit, and coming back up, being rescued, and things like that. Because again, sometimes when situations, this is an example of when you fall sick and you have definitely to seek medical attention, otherwise you will die. You have to get medical attention, otherwise you will die. So in some cases, some tides, might you might end up not being able to navigate these tides on your own, right? You may need external support. You may need to be admitted if it's sickness. You may need to be you may need to go undergo a surgery, an operation, right? So how you navigate it will depend on a different tide. But the question is, even when you're going through a very difficult tide, even when you're riding a very difficult tide, right? How mentally strong are you? Will definitely play a fundamental role, on your ability or inability to navigate the same. But again, think about your mental strength, and I think that's the one thing no one can defeat you. That's the one thing that only you will be in fully control. Of course, within the boundaries and the parameters of external factors and coming, and distracting you, or this and that. However, you being able to be fully in sync with your mental strength is crucial, and that in itself would drive the biggest win to you. So as always, I'd love to get your feedback. I'd love to hear your comments, your views on and your thoughts. Are you riding tied? Do you know you're tied? Are you aware on your mental strength to navigate that tide? Are you conforming? Or are you resisting? Because if you are, my friend, it never ends well. So, ride your tide, conform, be like water, right? But remember, your mental strength is everything. And it's not easy. It's not easy to be, I think, consistently mentally strong. But find yourself, find your mental strength. Keep going. You'll always get. As always, pleasure being able to share, and I look forward to feedback. I love feedback. I look forward to your thoughts. Like they say, sharing is caring. Let's share, let's care, let's build this amazing community. Let's make the world a better place for everyone. And thank you so much. Looking forward to your feedback. Again, kwaheri, goodbye. Mungu abariki. God bless you. Mungu abariki Africa. God bless Africa. Richard out. Catch you in the next one. Cheers.